By what criteria people choose premium crossovers or SUVs? Some say its off-roading capabilities and handling are important. For others, prestige, design and reputation of the brand. But for all of them, reliability is not even a question. People assume that all premium SUVs are reliable, but it's not always true. Today, we'll take a look at the most interesting facts of the legendary SUV with over 70 years of history, Toyota's longest-running series of models. This is Toyota Land Cruiser. When the Japanese Imperial Army occupied Philippines in 1941, they found an American Willys Jeep and sent it to Japan. The Japanese military authorities ordered Toyota to produce a similar vehicle, but to alter the appearance. In 1942, Toyota developed the AK-10 prototype by reverse engineering a Jeep. This car actively participated in saving Japan from the total collapse after the end of the World War II. Japan, like a big part of the rest of the world, was in ruins with huge losses of life and destroyed economy. Its industries needed help, and first of all, help in transportation. And solving this problem was assigned to Toyota. The post-war Toyota produced Jeep BJ that was completely different from the AK-10 and inherits no mechanical parts from it. The Toyota Jeep BJ prototype was developed in January 1951. The BJ was larger than the original US Jeep and more powerful. In July 1951, Toyota test driver Ichiro Taira drove the next generation BJ prototype up to Mountain Fuji. At 2,490 meters, it was the first vehicle to climb this height. The test was overseen by National Police Agency, and impressed by this feat, police quickly placed an order for these off-road vehicles, making Jeep BJ their official patrol car. Also, it was the car for Ministry of Agriculture and Forestry and for a number of other duties. Later, responding to claims of trademark violation by the Willys company that produced the original Jeep, the director of technology, Hanji Yumehara, renamed the vehicle as Toyota Land Cruiser. It was a hint at Land Rover that now they have some serious competition with the car that was born from the demand for military-type utility vehicles, much like the British Land Rover Series 1 that was developed in 1948.
Here comes the unstoppable Big Six, the Toyota Land Cruiser, world's toughest four-wheel drive. There's no stopping a Toyota. It's the toughest, guttiest, keep-goingest power package ever built into a four-wheel drive. Toyota goes where wheels never went before, over rocks and ridges, through mud, flood, sand, and snow.
And over time, with each new generation, Land Cruiser gradually turned from a cheap, simple, hard-working, off-road, mostly military vehicle into a comfortable, prestigious and technological sport utility vehicle with the most classic off-road capabilities. Only one quality remained unchanged: its phenomenal reliability. It's usually used in such conditions where many of the so-called SUVs would not last. It always had classic body-on-frame construction, durable engines and one of the most advanced and safe suspensions. These are the most important parts of a good SUV operating in worst conditions, where it's extremely important to have a reliable car, because life may depend on it. Nowadays, it's doing a wide variety of work. It's a business executive car or a favorite vehicle of the people who like some serious off-roading. It is one of the most popular armored cars. Security agencies and even private clients can turn Land Cruiser into a fortress. Its modified frame construction and suspension are perfect for that and can handle all of the extra weight. It can have different levels of protection, and the top levels can withstand RPG hit and even a tank mine. The United Nations organization used many Land Cruisers for their missions in places where are no roads and where reliability is important. Land Cruisers are widely used as fighting units. You most likely have seen its open pickup truck versions being used in majority of modern conflicts in Africa and Middle East in the conditions where there's no quality maintenance, and it proves that it can withstand long-term operation. Only the most rigid mechanisms can do this job. In 1987, during a conflict between Chad and Libya, hundreds of Land Cruisers and Hilux pickup trucks ended up on each side. And one of the Chad's army generals once said that a Land Cruiser pickup truck with the right equipment may easily replace a tank. Later, this conflict was even named Toyota War. But most of all, Land Cruisers are known for covering long distances. Expeditions into the most severe corners of the planet, where the choice of the right car is the matter of life or death. It's a favorite vehicle of adventure travelers. A couple from Switzerland have been traveling around the world for more than 30 years in their old 1982 Toyota Land Cruiser. Its current travel distance exceeded 700 kilometers, and this journey is registered by Guinness as the longest car trip that continues. In another adventure example, Toyota Land Cruiser had to cross the polar circle several times. In this expedition, two cars, Land Cruiser Prado and Land Cruiser 200, traveled 14,000 kilometers in the most difficult conditions of the polar circle. Most of the trip, of about 10,000 kilometers, passing through winter roads, through ice rises and frozen rivers and channels, and cold starting the engine at temperatures way below minus 40 degrees Celsius. The entire trip, these Land Cruisers traveled without a single breakdown. And another incredible journey was done by Estonian traveler Matt Nilsson. He turned his Land Cruiser Prado into amphibious ship for a trip around the world. He spent 7 years on preparations, and in 2013 he went out and planned to use his modified Land Cruiser to cross plains and mountains and even open seas. But when one of his pontoons broke and the car started leaning somewhere in Atlantic, he had to call a rescue ship in emergency. It is well known that classic body-on-frame SUVs or off-roaders can go fast, but not supercar fast. But this special Toyota Land Cruiser proves that there is nothing impossible. Toyota studied its German competition from Porsche and Mercedes that set new records almost every year and prepared something very special. A former Toyota NASCAR driver, Carl Edwards, hit 230 miles an hour speed in this 2,000 horsepower Land Cruiser, beating previous Mercedes GLK Brabus speed record. And here is how they got it to this speed. Toyota standard 5.7-liter V8 engine with 381 horsepower received two giant Garrett turbos. And while its regular transmission couldn't handle this much power, a custom 3-speed automatic transmission was built. In addition to that, a unique aerodynamic kit was made for this car. But the biggest problem, according to engineers, was the high center of gravity due to its classic body-on-frame structure. So the shape of the frame was changed in order to lower the body as much as possible. This kind of speed required improvements in many other components, and the result was simply shocking. 230 miles an hour of the maximum speed, but the Guinness refused to register this result, explaining that they couldn't count this Land Cruiser as an SUV because it has too many custom parts that were made especially just for this one car. Its previous record car, Mercedes GLK Brabus with 750 horsepower V12 engine, is a low-volume production car that can be purchased. But anyway, whatever it is, a registered record or not, it still demonstrates the possibilities of the Land Cruiser platform. Toyota Land Cruiser took parts in many other off-road competitions. Even its standard versions, regardless of age and generation, are very capable, but they can do even more with minimal tuning. Its body clearance, classic frame setup, rigid transmission, four-wheel drive, access with locking differentials, and its engines that are among the most reliable in the world make this SUV a great choice for any motorsport. Off-roading fans build great monsters based on Land Cruiser, but its most important achievements are victories in T2 rallies. In Dakar famous rally marathon, Toyota participated almost from the very beginning since 1979 and had many victories. It's not a surprise that Toyota is one of the most popular in almost every class at the moment. Just imagine that 1/3 of all SUVs in the most serious rallies are either Toyota Hilux or Toyota Land Cruiser. It is a vehicle of choice for the technical support also. And unlike in the T1 category, where unique prototypes participate that have little in common with the regular cars, in T2 category also the standard cars participate with minimal changes. Its resource of reliability from the factory is high enough to withstand the world's most difficult rallies. To prepare a car for the T2 rally, a safety cage is needed. Also fire extinguisher system, sport seats with 6-point harnesses, oversized fuel tanks, and of course some good tires. It is also allowed to have some partial changes in the suspension, shock absorbers and springs. But the engine is stuck, it's standard. It must be a production version with only minor adjustments for future survival. Winning Dakar T2 competition several times brought Land Cruiser the name of the best full-size SUV in the world. There is no better proof of reliability and endurance than winning Dakar Rally. In over 70 years of its history, Toyota Land Cruiser earned its legendary reputation. And as of 2019, sales of the Land Cruiser totaled more than 10 million units worldwide. Its recognized name is holding the value in every part of the world. It's the best in a very few SUVs and a true off-road vehicle that can be relied on. That's all I have for you today, guys. Check out my channel for my other videos, but for now, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.